President Trump to release the names of sexual predators in Congress by Gary Mayer for USA Politics Today. It's almost hard to believe that members of Congress had the chutzpah to establish a secret fund paid for by taxpayers to silence the victims of their unwanted sexual demands, but they did, once again proving their complete disregard for the people that pay their salaries. And the amount of money paid to silence their victims over the past decades, 2 decades actually, is staggering. Look at all this. Wow. 4 million over there. Another almost 3.974. Wow. $17.25 million were spent to hide the sexual peccadillos, including rape and 264 reported incidents. How many more attacks were unreported? Payments averaged about $65,000 per assault. That's fairly significant hush money, but it gets worse. In 1 year, the average payment was just under $400,000. That was the average. That average had to have been skewed by 1 or 2 massive payouts, considering the total payout for the 50 settlements in the 5 years period was that year was about $382,000. Now, journalist Trey Yingst has tweeted that President Trump wants the names of these predators to be made public. There are at least 2 good reasons that Trump would want their names to be made public. President Trump tells me he believes Congress should release the names of lawmakers who have settled sexual harassment claims. First, as we have learned from the establishment attack on Roy Moore and their stated intent to block him from being seated in the voters of Alabama are to elect him. They are blowing smoke because the Supreme Court has ruled that as long as the voters are aware of the allegations ahead of time, then it is fair to consider they have taken the alleged behavior into account when they cast their votes. That was the case with D.C. Mayor Marion Barry, who was reelected after being found in a hotel room smoking crack cocaine while enjoying the company of a prostitute. In fact, the plaque honoring Barry is currently being ejected in Washington. The High Court's ruling also opens the door to what happens when the truth is deliberately kept from voters in these instances, and they do not have an opportunity to factor the aberrant behavior into their decision. Remember, the congressional violators have admitted their guilt or been found guilty despite their contentions otherwise. Roy Moore has been afforded nowhere near the same consideration. Then there's the fact that if any one of the accused was convicted of rape, they would not be eligible to vote, let alone occupy a seat in the Capitol. Make no mistake that an examination of the annual and average settlements show such a disparate level of payments that at least some of the attacks must have been petty, egregious. Take 2002, for example. The annual payout was just under $4 million to settle 10 cases. The year before, the average payout was just over $17,000. Whatever the offenses were in 2002 to warrant a 2,200% increase in payout over the previous year had to be serious, very serious. This leaves anyone with knowledge of the offenders and their offenses holding a hammer over the heads of legislators in order to guarantee their votes. If these names are released, it might explain the votes of politicians that otherwise defy explanation. There must be no place for extortion in our political process, and the Congressional Office of Compliance appears to have been created for precisely that reason. Release the names. We have a right to know what we paid for. Yeah, I noticed a big jump in the numbers there. Wow. This is what the taxpayer dollars are coming. So in 97 it was about 40 grand, 98 103, you see? And then in 2002 it went to almost 4 million. And the numbers just kept on rising. Wow. I hope he does release them. You know, the names would be a step forward. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.